So in this Chief Architect tutorial, we're going to be talking about interior customization. So pretty much how we take this bland 2D drawing that we've created here and turn it into something that looks pretty, that looks like an actual house. So how we actually see inside this 2D view is with the camera tool right here, and if we click it on the screen and drag it, we can choose which direction the camera faces. So I'll face the center of the room, and I'll let go, and then we're into the camera view. So this shows us the 3D view of the 2D model that we can see here in the working plan view. So the tools to control the view are over here on the left side of your screen. The first one is orbit, which changes the direction you're facing, so you can turn around. And then the pan tool allows you to move back and forth. And then the last one, the mouse dolly, allows you to move forward and backwards. So using these tools, you can make your way around your model to look at different points of interest. So what we're going to be looking at today is first off these windows and doors and changing how they look and other features like that. So if we click on a door here in the 3D view, or even in our working plan view, if we click on our door, we can go down to the bottom and open this object for a detailed modification. So if we open the object, we get this huge library of different settings that we can change with the door. This will be different for any type of object you click. You see at the top it says exterior door specification. So these are all settings that are specific to this one door. So changing this door will not affect the other door or any other doors that you have in your model unless you change the defaults, which I will talk about in a different tutorial. So in these general settings, you can see width, height, things like that. So let's say, for example, you wanted to make this a double door. So you see right now the width is 3 feet or 36 inches. So if we change the width to 6 feet and we hit tab, you can see that it's changed the way the door looks here in this preview. And if we click OK, it changes it in the 2D view and the 3D view. So now we can see we have double doors. Now, if we open back up the modification, we can look at some other settings that you may want to change. One of these is the door style. So if you hit library, we get a menu that brings us into the library. Now this has all the different objects, materials, and things like that that you'll need to help create your house. So we can see here it's automatically brought us into the entry door category. And so if we click on the folder, we can see that there are tons of different options that we can see. Now they're kind of small here, but we can click through each one of them to try and find a door style that we like that fits what we want for these double doors. So I am going to use this right here, click OK. It changes in the preview window here, but it hasn't changed in the actual model until we actually click OK. So now we can see that the doors have changed. Another thing that you might want to edit with doors is, for example, the handle. So if we go down and find where the handle is in all these settings, which is in hardware, we can change that. So we can go and look for a new interior handle in the library, and you can see this time it hasn't actually brought us to the section. So you'll find it in the core catalogs, architectural hardware, door hardware, and then knobs and levers. So we can look at these different knobs, and let's say we want a lever knob. So we click that, we click OK, and it will change in the model once we press OK, so we can see how those have changed. And just if you're wondering, I'm zooming in and out using the scroll wheel. So another final thing I'll go over for doors is changing the color. So if you go down here to the materials tab, this is where we change the color and materials of these different objects. So we can change, for example, how the hardware looks. So if we select the material, we'll go into the library panel where we can see all these different materials. So let's say we want to change it to let's say copper, and we'll go with a brushed copper finish. So we select that, we click OK. You see it changes here, we click OK, and then it'll change in the model. You'll see it doesn't look a lot like copper. It looks very low quality right now while we're in this preview window, but when you do final rendering like we'll go over in a later tutorial, it'll come out looking much better. So now that we've seen the settings we can change with doors, we'll look at windows for a second. So I'll use this to rotate around and this tool to bring us forward. And now we can look at the windows. So similar to the doors, you're going to click them and then open the object for detailed modification. And we can see a lot of the same settings that we saw for doors. Changing the width, height. These two settings, floor to bottom and floor to top, can also be used to position them on the wall. For example, if you want a higher window, you can change this from 32 inches to maybe 54 inches. And then if we click enter, you can see it moved it up on the wall. Now, using this setting box is not the only way to change the size and location of these objects. You can see we get these little uh, things here to click on where we can move the size in and out like this, or we can use the selector in the middle to move the actual window on the wall up or down, right and left. So these are useful if you're trying to eyeball the location of a window based on like what the inside looks like. So if we go back into the settings, uh, another big thing you might want with windows is the material. You can change the color of the trim on the inside, things like that. Uh, and then again, similar to doors, we can change the window type. So maybe you just want a single piece of glass instead of having the line in the middle like that. You can change it here and click OK. So now we have a different type of window. So that's pretty much it for windows and doors. And now we can look at uh, the room in general. So if we come back to this working plan view, you can see here the camera. I'm just going to move that out of the way for now. Um, we can change the wall colors and the floor and other settings in the room by selecting the center of the room like this and then opening the object modification. So in here we can see it says room specification. So we can change the room type. So let's say it's a bedroom, and what this does is it changes these settings here and all of the defaults for that room type to match the room. So for example, if I changed it to a garage, then it would use the floor type in the garage and exclude the um the living area in this building from the calculations for the house as a whole. But for this example, we'll say it's a bedroom, and then we can look in here. The structure is a lot of settings with the height of the ceiling and stuff like that, but most of those you can keep as default. But here we can see we can change the ceiling finish. Um, like we did with the other things, we can click select material and we can choose a different color. So it's white before, and this time we'll go to generic colors. We'll give it a green, a forest green roof. Click OK, click OK. Now we have a green roof. And then we can also here with the floor, we can edit the finish here. And if we go to select material, there are tons of materials for floors. You see there's this entire folder with stuff for the floor. So we'll go for a carpet. We have all these different options. We'll go with, again, a forest green carpet. Click OK, click OK, and that's all changed. And if we go to materials, we can change the color of the walls, or again, the floor or ceiling are also shown here. So let's change the wall color to something different. So if we go to colors, we'll go gradients and a green gradient. I guess it's probably going to look kind of ugly, but we'll do a leaf gradient. Okay. We'll click OK. And now if we go back to our camera, we can see that all of the colors in the room have changed. So we now have the green gradient walls, green carpet floor, and a forest green roof. Um, so in this way, you can completely customize everything inside your house and change how it looks. And there's one more kind of shortcut with this that I want to show you. At the top of the screen, there's something called the material eyedropper. So if we click on this tool, we can select any color or material that's currently in our house and then apply it to other things. So for example, maybe I like the white on this window trim, and I want to make that the same color as like the roof. So I clicked the trim color, and now that you see the paintbrush on the screen, we can click the roof and as many other objects as we want to change their color to the same color or the same material. So once again, if I select the material eyedropper and say I want green carpet on the walls, we can click the green carpet and then use the spray paint and spray paint it on the walls. Um, so in this way, you can make things look uniform with the house using the 3D view. You can go through the house and select a material and then paint it onto other things to make sure everything is looking together and it looks like well designed. So that is going to conclude this tutorial, and look forward to seeing you next time.